Hello! If this is your first time on my channel, I am Amanda Meru, and it is truly a pleasure for me to have you here. And if it's not your first time, indeed today we have a Sunday video, which is a much more personal format, where I really want you to get comfortable. Imagine that I've invited you to my home to spend some time with me. And if you're wondering, Amanda, is it possible that you're in pajamas, right? So if you are too, then we're on the same page. And if what you're looking for is for this person to really start valuing you, you're going to have to do things right. Look, there's a problem that we often lose sight of. And it's that there's a lot of talk about if you make it too complicated, they value you. Nobody wants the easy thing. But the reality is that in practice, sometimes ease leads to us reaching closer connections. And this is why we sometimes get confused. But understand one thing, imagine. Let's use the following example because I really like examples. Imagine you're walking down the street and I stop you because I'm a salesperson, right? Then I say to you, hey, do you want to come eat at my restaurant? I have the menu at 20 euros, right? And you say, I don't know. At first glance, it's not the type of food I'm most in the mood for. I was looking for something else, something more elegant, something more like that. Oh, well, but what if I offer you the menu for 10 euros? And there you were, right? Well, if you put it that way, well, okay, I'll go. Maybe you go. And it's not really that the food is bad or that the place is bad, right? But the mere fact that it was so cheap might create, it's true, the skepticism, right? Of saying, well, obviously this isn't the place I would come to celebrate a special occasion. It's not the place I think of when I imagine eating at my favorite spot. But it's true that it was cheap, right? And then maybe on that typical day when you can't afford to eat at the good place, when you have nowhere else to go, you say, well, this 10 euro place wasn't bad. I mean, it's not that you value it a lot, but you might go back, right? But now imagine that you keep seeing places and suddenly you find spots that catch your attention much more. Places that are better where the menu might cost more, but they catch your eye. And you try to go, you do your best, you make an effort, you get excited, right? Then you don't even remember the 10 euro place anymore. And now another day passes and I say to you, hey, look, why don't you go in to eat? No, really no. Look, I'll make it free for you. And there you say, well, if it's free, am I really going to miss out on going when it's free? Let's see. It's not the place I want. It's not the one that excites me, but nowhere else offers it for free. All right, fine. I'll go again. This is what I mean. As you realize, indeed, if we lower the bar, ask less from the person, and offer more in return for nothing, this sometimes will indeed lead to the person continuing to go to the place. You keep maintaining clientele even though they actually value going less and less. And this is why sometimes in practice, when we do that, when once again we reach out, for the third time we offer conveniences in the plan, like, hey, if you want, we can meet at your place. If you want, only on the day that suits you. If you want, just for that moment. Even if you haven't written to me in 2 weeks, I'll come and get you. Sometimes it indeed leads to the situation being maintained, but merely because we are offering so many conveniences that in practice, it's not that this person is becoming fond. It's not that this is leading to something. But of course, when something is like this, so simple, without competition, you say, well, it's true that sometimes I have nowhere to go, sometimes I feel like going out to eat, and you understand me, right? So come on, I'll try it. But this, which for you is like a sacrifice of love by saying, I want to maintain this over time. I want this customer to keep coming because in the end, I opened the restaurant just for you. Yes, it may be small, it may be shabby, but I open it just for you, right? So it's very sad. It's very sad to be aware of the extent to which one is making the effort. And on top of that, you settle for believing, well, as long as the person keeps coming here, even if it's because I've made it free, even if it's because I've put up neon clouds, but they've come to eat here. I have them seated. Here I have this person seated for whom I have opened the kitchen. I have opened the place for this person. I'm giving it to them for free. And while they're eating my food, they're thinking about what they can do to set it up well enough to be able to eat at the more expensive place. But that's the one they really crave. Do you really think that's fair? To you? And do you think that by continuing to offer conveniences, by not being able to provide more comfort, you're really going to reach that person's heart? I think deep down, it's not. But I understand that it's scary, right? You offer so many conveniences and it's scary to let go, isn't it? There are people who tell me, Amanda, but somehow I feel that person and I feel there's more. Okay, so if you really feel it, where is your fear of letting go and of trusting? Listen to me, I'm not telling you it can't be that way. Sometimes it is like that. It's just that sometimes we've really gone overboard with the discounts. Sometimes we've indeed handled it very poorly. In that quest to achieve at all costs for this person to come, we've handled it very poorly. And we've contributed a lot to this person indeed underestimating us, not truly seeing our value. But we can't continue in the same way. Because if we continue in the same way and keep increasing the offer, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. So, indeed, if you feel that there's more here and this person isn't truly realizing how important it is for him or her to be here, to enjoy what you can offer, put it to the test, have the courage. We believe that maintaining something at all costs is the most important thing. From there, as I say, we keep lowering the bar, making it easier by saying it doesn't matter. That is to say, it's true that if I compare how it might have been at the beginning or how it is now or how this person treated me when they were interested and now, well, it has been declining, but it doesn't matter because what I don't want is for it to break. Under no circumstances do I want a distance to arise between that person and me. Why? Because it hurts me. Well, look, there are times when it's going to have to hurt. That's how it is. It's true. I'm not going to lie to you. Of course it's going to hurt. Of course, if you no longer receive the person now, is it going to hurt? There are times in life when pain is unavoidable and sometimes it's necessary. But to do the right thing, as I say, sometimes you have to endure that bitter moment. That is to say, you fear greatly. No matter what happens, I want to ensure that this doesn't break. Whatever it is, let it be. Let's give it a title. Let it be. It doesn't break. And I tell you, it's the opposite that it breaks. Allow it to break. Allow the distance. Allow the absence. Allow time to pass. Allow the pain to enter and sweep over you like a wave. Like a tsunami that enters your emotional field. Allow it. Allow everything that has been built to be swept away. Because if I start building and the foundations are getting worse each time and the house is already wobbling, and you say, I don't know how to hold it up anymore. A couple more bricks and this is going to end up falling. What do you think is better? To really try to repair every little gap that's not right? Or to say, okay, this construction is not well made. Let it fall. Let it break. Let it be destroyed. Down to the last damn brick. And if it's worth rebuilding, then you build it from scratch. Because I encounter that a lot in consultations. I come across stories where I'm not going to delve into the potential between these two people, but rather how they have developed. The events, how things have unfolded. Let's say that trying to build from here, it's almost impossible to do something properly. Many times, you're not even aware of it yourself. Feel what you have to offer. Reproaches? A lot of reproach, a lot of bitterness, you hold a lot of suspicion. It's a love-hate relationship, right? It's like, yes, I can't help but feel. But it has already led me to experience so many negative emotions, and I have felt so frustrated and so bad so many times. And I've had such a hard time. And I feel so deceived sometimes. And that they have played and belittled and such, that I remain there. Merely because I don't want to face the pain of believing that all this I've done is for nothing and the sorrow that comes with feeling that I'm drifting away, that it's not the ending I want. And so I cling to this story that isn't going as it should, tooth and nail. And I have to understand that in those cases, no, that it's much better to understand, hey, look, this is how it is. It hasn't gone as it should. Things aren't as they should be. Let it be destroyed, let it break, let it end. And if you really want, indeed, in a case like this, where you've given all the chances and opportunities for the person to start seeing you differently, to truly start missing you, bluffs don't work. Fake. Bets don't work. That is to say, truly, there has to be a part of you willing to understand, to accept the part that perhaps hasn't done well, to understand that this is not what you want, to understand that by taking the easy path you get nowhere, meaning up to this point, to this. I don't want this, not like this. I don't want it. And I don't consider it my responsibility to keep carrying this enormous burden of making this work or making this person start seeing me differently. Not anymore. I've done it for a long time. I've accepted it for a long time. I've tried what I can, and I don't want to anymore. I don't want to. So I simply want to return to myself. I want to appreciate myself again. I want to feel calm again, to live my life and move forward. And that is an act of faith in many ways. First, faith in what you have given. If you truly know deep down that you gave things this person will eventually miss, the only way for them to do so is to stop giving them and continue on your path. That's how it is. Faith that when you say, I feel that this person, well, if this person is going to eventually realize, it may take more or less time, but they will eventually realize. But it won't be based on your effort, and it's not your responsibility. So, and trust a little in life, as I always tell you, because I am a strong advocate of, there comes a moment when one has to say, okay, I give up. I let the game be, I don't try anything else, and that's it. And trust in who you really are. The problem is that many times, because you don't love yourself as you should, you say many things that aren't true. Deep down, you don't feel, you don't say much. The day this person no longer has me, they will realize. The day this person stops receiving what I give them, they will appreciate everything I... Okay, and if you really think that way, why are you so afraid? Why do you hold back so much when it comes to doing what you know you have to do? Have a little more real faith in what you contribute, in what you give, in the fact that you are unique and what you bring to others is something only you can provide. Trust a little more in who you are. The other day, I saw a video by an American coach. I can't recall the name right now because I'd like to give you the reference because I like him. He's a man with strength. There are many ways to convey a message, there is. Besides making it more empathetic and approachable, but I also believe that strength is very important, that you can gain strength. And he said, you think you don't need me. You think you don't need me and that I do need you, but I believe that's not the case. I think you do need me. And on the other hand, I don't, he says. So if you no longer want me around, if you no longer want me in your life, that's fine, he says. We'll see who needs whom. And sometimes that happens. But of course, there has to be a real desire on your part for it to happen. That is to say, you have to have the will to say no more. The conveniences are over, the chasing is over, the excuses, the pretexts, the belief that this time it might be yours, that this time it might be different, are over. Sometimes truly, you have to dare to believe more, to feel, and above all, as I always tell you, keep your head held high. No leaving. Believing that you're leaving because you are the worst. It's like, well, that's it. I accept that even with all the conveniences, you don't value me because I am not valuable. No. Head held high and say, okay, I accept and take responsibility for my part. I did it wrong. I fell into giving you too much. But I know that what I have given is much more valuable than you believed, than you were able to see. And now that you won't receive it anymore, now that I'm taking it with me, now that I'm ready to move on and live my life, we'll see if you don't get a huge surprise and realize that you'd love for me to run into you on the street and say, Here's the menu, and not for free anymore, not for 10, for 20. You'd give me the 20, but it's not even 20 anymore. Now it's 50. You need to have, that's the mindset. You need to truly leave and move forward as you should. And for that person to, let's say, feel the weight of your absence as you really, truly desire. As long as you leave, just suffering, thinking, trusting, and pleading within yourself that hopefully this person returns as soon as possible, this doesn't happen. You really need to change your mindset, go through the pain you need to go through, but become stronger again. The absences that are most suffered are the ones you are not willing to give to that person. And I'm really going to tell you what it is. It's when we had something, didn't value it, wanted to get it back, and weren't given the option. When you become something that person will never be able to have again. When you went from being a man to being a man, being an option, an almost given option. Something out of their reach or something that someone else is enjoying. That's when you most lead a person to suffer from your absence, because it becomes the absence of a real loss. The thing is, I know that maybe you're not willing to do this, or it's not what you want. And maybe you don't want this person to suffer from your absence. You think maybe yes, because you are suffering. What you want is for this person to value your presence. But for that, you have to take into account everything we've explained. Not to keep making things easier, but quite the opposite. Well, I hope this video helps you, that you liked it, that it gives you the push and strength you need, that you trust yourself a little more, love yourself a little more, and that we see each other again very soon. Until then, as always, I send you a very big kiss.